Welcome to New Jersey HorrorCon. I'm your moderator, Chris Stiles from Pop Culture Punk, and it is my extreme honor to ask you guys to put your hands together for Jennifer Banko and Lar Park Lincoln, the cast of Friday 7. You guys have been heroes of mine since I was a little boy. I love Friday 7, so I want to know what inspired you guys to get into acting. There we go.
So I knew third grade that I was going to be an actor and model, and I'm an Army brat, so it was really hard on military bases to do anything really other than just be the military brat, right? The Army brat. So I just kept training all my life and ultimately went into modeling for many, many years and studied and was able to start acting. Yeah.
Amazing.
That was how it went. Lots of auditions.
Jennifer, I mean, you got started, I guess, maybe a little younger.
So my mom put me in, when I was born, my mom's womb was really tiny. And so I was born with my feet rolled in, and my brother was born with his feet like this. He had to wear braces. The doctor said, for me, put her in ballet, and it'll turn her feet out. So dancing led to beauty pageants, and I would, do my tap dancing and my whole little thing. And we got followed one day by this lady named Marilyn Schumann. She was asking my mom, she wanted to represent me. And she followed us. She drove 2 hours following us all the way home to ask my mom one more time, are you sure? And my mom, right? And my mom asked me what I wanted to do. I was 3 years old. And I told my mom that I love having the audience in the palm of my hands, being able to make them laugh or cry or do whatever the hell I want to. I love making people feel. And my mom was like, so that's a yes? But also, I thought people lived in the TV at the time. So I thought I was going to be one of the TV people that lived in the TV. Yeah.
You know, the line, I hate you, I wish you were dead, is going to be so different now next time I watch Friday 7. It's like, I wanted them to feel that.
Yeah, I was a really intense kid. I would grab my mom's face, and I would squeeze it, and I would, I love you so much. I was just very intense kid.
They have medication for that now.
And my mom told me, I used to tell my mom, I love people. I love everybody. She's like, well, you can't love anybody until you love yourself first. So again, at 3 years old, my mom's like, where's Jennifer? It's quiet. Uh-oh, where's Jennifer? She finds me. I'm in my bedroom. I'm in front of the mirror going, I love you. Mwah. I love you. Because I wanted to love people.
It's amazing. This is like Tina Shepard group therapy. I love this. So I've, been a Friday the 13th fan my whole life. The film that was my gateway was Friday 7. It's the first one I ever saw. Probably the reason I'm addicted to horror to this day, especially 80s horror. Were you guys Friday the 13th fans prior to being cast?
Yes, so much. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I was a huge fan. Wow. So, especially, they were in the drive-ins, early on. So, yeah, I absolutely love horror. And when I got the audition for this show, it was under an artificial name. Birthday Bash, right? So we wouldn't have all of this craziness happening. And you go in and you do the first auditions. You don't usually see the whole script at that point. And the callbacks, you start to get the scripts. And we started figuring that out real quick. Okay, this is Jason. Yeah. So I was terrified and excited.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite entry prior to doing 7? I liked part 4 the best, or I liked part 6.
1 and 2. Those were my favorites. Yeah, setting up the stories were. Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Fucking Ari Lehman, yeah. I can't even talk right now, you guys. Fuck yeah, Ari Lehman!
Oh, Ari Lehman, right. Oh, yeah, so Friday 1, so you're a fan of Friday 1 would be your favorite prior to 7.
He was so fucking creepy.
He's still creepy.
He is always creepy.
But I love him.
Oh, my God. So, are there any memories from the audition process?
Yes. Okay, so I started modeling when I was 3. I started dancing when I was 2.5. Modeling when I was 3. Commercials when I was 6. And Friday the 13th, Part 7 was the very first movie I ever auditioned for. And, you know, you're sitting there and you're waiting to see when you're going to go. You never want to be first because it's easy to forget you. You never want to be last because by then they're so fucking tired. So you never want to be first or last. Fucking last. And I'm freaking out. It's my first, you know, and it's like I'm in it to win it, right? And what's that girl that was on Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman? Erica Flores. Her and I were both up for like a little mini series thing called Elvis and Me or whatever. She shows up. I'm like, I'm so screwed. This is like my biggest competition. Now I'm going to be the last one in. So I go in and I'm like 10 years old and I'm like, how do I make this a moment that they're not going to forget? So I was like, can I please have a moment? And they were like, sure. So I turned away from them and I started crying. I turned back around and started the scene. They never forgot me. Yeah.
Great, terrific.
That's amazing, yeah, right?
Very good story.
But then I thought everything was easy. I was like, oh my gosh, first commercial I ever auditioned for, I got it. First movie, I got it. This is rad. That's not how it works.
No.
It's not how it works, you guys.
Laura, did you have
Yes.
any memories of auditioning?
I did. It was in a very small room, a very tiny office with the casting director and John Buechler, our director, right from the beginning. I don't know if he was there for your first read or not. Probably. Yeah. But, you know, when you're auditioning, they give you the most dramatically emotional parts because they want to see how you would progress the character, how you would play that, which is usually screaming and crying, and it's a very small room. So I just remember very specifically making choices because I had to see scary things, which are not there, you know, in an audition, and it was really fun. So when I went back for the callback, it was I already had the role, and they were reading me with different guys to play Nick, the chemistry read, so that was fun too.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Well, you mentioned the great John Carl Buechler. I had the privilege of doing a panel with him a couple of years ago. Just one of the sweetest guys ever, criminally underrated for his contributions to the horror genre.
Yeah.
He's the only guy to work on Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween. I'm pretty sure he's the only one who's done all three. Yeah. Some people have done two. Yeah. So what can you tell us about working with the amazing John Carl Buechler? What's his directing process like?
He is he's a very soft, quiet man. And, you know, sometimes you'll be on a set and have screamers, you know, like they think screaming at you is going to work. And he was just, he was very strong in what he wanted, and he was able to explain that to us really well, because you know the director's looking at a whole picture that we don't see as actors. We only see pieces of that. So I stayed good friends with him throughout, and I think he was just a really, really wonderful man. Yeah.
That's awesome. Jennifer, any memories similar? Or?
What was the question again?
Just, you know, what it was like working with John, or what his process is working with actors. Any memories that you could tell us, John?
I mean, well, John was amazing. Obviously, I was the only kid on set, so they wanted to make sure that I wasn't scared when I watched the movie later at the premiere. So him and Kane set it up so that we could come in a day that I wasn't working, so we could meet once his mask falls off and see what he was going to look like then. And then my little brother and I were so excited that Kane invited us to come down when they blew up that building that actually caught on fire. My brother and I were sitting there watching that like, wow. Yeah, so that was really amazing. It was like, he doesn't remember any of this. I'm like, you were my fucking hero. You don't remember any of it. I had special moments with her, and everyone's like, she's never met you. I'm like, these fucking motherfuckers. Like, seriously,
I never met her as an adult.
I've like kept her like connected to her my whole life. Like, she was an Aaron Spelling girl when she was younger. We had the same bottom tooth out of line, and then I ended up being an Aaron Spelling girl later, and I'm like, we're forever bonded. And she's never met you. Fuck off.
I am so glad you mentioned that you both worked in the world of Aaron Spelling, because I am one thing I love just as much as horror is all things Aaron Spelling.
Aaron Spelling.
So that's amazing.
He was good to me.
He was amazing. He would have us I mean, audition right in his office. You would go in right there and audition right there at his desk. He was an amazing man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The legendary Aaron Spelling, just right here at my desk, right here's fine.
Exactly.
Wow, talk about intimidating situation. So you mentioned Kane Hodder, of course, and that is one very important historical change that happens in Friday 7 is for the first time you get the amazing Kane Hodder playing the role of Jason to perfection. I don't think, anyone can touch what he's done with the role. And there have been a lot of amazing people who have played they're not trying to take away from anyone, but John really had to push for Kane to be in the movie, right?
That's what I was told, that he had to really push, because it was his first time to play that.
Yeah.
And also one thing John had to do with my character is they kept trying to change the way I looked. I would go in and they wanted me to be black hair, and then brown hair, and then back to blonde hair. I'm like, no, Tina's not a strong goth kind of girl. She's a very simple, pale person. So I was really glad we got to keep it, but he fought for that also.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have been a very different story.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have felt as much for her.
Yeah,
being
I can't
really
imagine.
strong.
I can't imagine a goth Tina Shepard. That just doesn't.
Like,
that's not the.
no.
That's not the Tina Shepard I know.
It would have made her a lot darker.
Yeah,
Like energy-wise. Too.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Purple presence.
would all have changed.
And again, I hate you. I wish you were dead. Would have been so intense under those circumstances.
Black hair.
Was there any clue though when you guys were working with Kane that wow, he is really crushing this. This is going to be. Do you have any idea that he was going to be the definitive Jason? No clue, huh? Wow.
Not
Same.
really
Well, I
thinking
mean-
of that when you're shooting. You're
Well,
just,
I mean, the times that we came in and that they had my little brother and I come in and watch scenes and stuff, it was powerful. They let us watch some crazy shit,
Again, just as a fan, I just love all those little things that he does, like the snap head turn, that became so, embedded in the Jason lore. That's like Jason's move, and that's all Kane.
the breathing.
Yes,
just-
the chest going up and down, it's incredible. So one thing I've always been curious about with these movies is it seems like all the Paramount Fridays were a lot tougher shoots than you would expect for a big studio movie. Is there any stories you guys have in line with that?
It was long days. A lot of work.
SAG got called a few times.
I didn't even know. I didn't know. Whatever.
Well, because I was a kid and
Oh, 'cause you were a kid.
they were not caring about time.
Yeah, it was. There were some crazy things. The alligator wrangler in Alabama was a little nerve-wracking and pitch black, and this man's 800 years old standing there. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. He goes, I'm the alligator wrangler. I'm like, how fast can you shoot? It's that was scary running through those woods, the exteriors, because of that.
Yeah. So she brought up the alligator wrangler. So I've always called him the alligator wrestler. So the day before we do the scene in the boat, there was an alligator in that water that he had to get out. That very next night, not even day, night, I'm in that boat, in that fucking water. There's divers that are standing on the side in full diving gear that are supposed to dive in just in case something happens to me. Well, there's also moccasin snakes in the water. They could see the tow line that was holding the boat in place, and they were like, you gotta cut it. Sounds like we gotta cut it, we can see it. So they cut it, and I start drifting downstream, and I'm going, bye, Mom. Goodbye, Mom. Goodbye, everybody, And the divers, whose job it was to come grab the boat, would not get in the water because of the snakes. So Kane comes out of fucking nowhere, grabs a big ass fucking piece of fucking wood and a huge stick, and fucking rows out and fucking puts me on it and gets me back to shore. He doesn't remember this either. I'm like, you saved my how do you forget saving somebody's life? And I don't know if you came the same day I did, but when we came, our resort was not ready. So we had to stay the first night in this little tiny motel. There was no freaking heat. It had snowed the day before. There was icicles hanging on all of the buildings. My mom and I would call down to the front desk. We're like, please, we need something, a heater, something. They bring in this little floor heater. Talk about fire hazard. My mom and I are in the bed with the floor heater, in the bed with all the blankets over us, just waiting to start a fire. They told me a limo was in my contract. The limo comes to get me. It was a van with the name limousine written on it. I was pissed. I was so mad.
Wow. 80s Paramount, come on, jeez.
But then the next day, they let us into a resort. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful place where we stayed.
Yeah, I don't remember anything, but I wasn't in there very much. It was like I was out there in the woods.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah.
Running around.
Wow.
Yeah, but that first night. But then the next day, the resort, and then you're like, it's beautiful, and it was.
Till it was freezing. And
it was freezing, and it was set in like summer, so we're all in little things.
I feel like every one of the great 80s horror movies was made somewhere where it was freezing cold, and people had to be like,
Your teeth are chattering.
Jumping
We
into
can
the
see your
water,
breath.
yeah,
Stuck on some ice cubes.
Wait, stop.
Oh
We
my
can see your
gosh.
breath.
Right.
Oh my God, Lord. So, being a Friday fan, I've always appreciated that the way, Frank Mancuso was sort of the godfather of the franchise there for a long time, the way Bob Shea was with Nightmare on Elm Street for New Line. Was he on set much? Any Frank Mancuso stories, or was he kind of out by then?
I don't remember having any dealings with him. Sean Cunningham.
Sean Cunningham was around?
Yeah, he was around.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Any, Jennifer, any stories there? Sean or Frank?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, moving on then. Now, I understand...
Like, should I know these people? I have no idea who they are. Oh.
Producers,
Oh. Thanks for hiring me.
Look at the poster.
Thanks, Frank.
Jennifer.
We know you're watching.
Look at the credits.
I was fucking 10, okay?
So,
I bought a bear with my per diem money. So my thing is always, don't spend your per diem on food and drinks. Save it, and then buy yourself something cool before you leave. So I bought a little bear. He looked like oatmeal, so I named him Oatmeal. He had little red suspenders on. I remember that. I remember Oatmeal.
well,
The pilot gave him wings and everything.
that's a heartwarming story I didn't expect. So,
I starved for 3 days so I could get oatmeal. I'm just kidding. They fed us on the set.
do you guys remember first meeting each other or first seeing each other's...
I remember meeting her. She doesn't remember meeting me.
No, I didn't say that. I said I didn't meet you as an adult.
No, she was wonderful to me. She came and spent some time in my room with my mom and I, and yeah, she spent a lot of time with me. Yeah, she was really good to me. That's what I'm saying. Like, her and Kane made such an impact on me in my life, and they don't fucking remember all these huge things they did for me as a kid. I'm like, you changed my life.
You turned out okay. You're all right.
So did either of you see anything in the other that you tried to maybe color your performance with, or anything that like, oh, I'm gonna, I like what she did here.
That's why you came in the room. I think that was originally why, was so that we could look at each other's mannerisms.
Get
I think that
feeling.
was the,
absorb
yeah,
energy. Wow, that's
the
awesome.
whole point.
Well-
And then we found out that we had the same bottom tooth out of line.
I took care of that.
Once I got that spelling money coming in.
I was like, oh my gosh, we really are each other. I was like 10. I was like, it's kismet.
It's amazing. So again, apologies if some of my research is not exactly correct, but I understand it was a very rushed shoot even for a Friday the 13th movie. That was all 5 months from pre to post. Is that right?
It was something like that, but it didn't feel rushed to me. It felt like a normal set. We shot quite a bit in Los Angeles, the interiors, and then we went to Alabama for exteriors. And then a little bit after finishing the film, they called me back in to do more exterior things. So I didn't have a feeling of it being rushed, but that was John's way. He was very calm, cool, collected, and we were just doing a shoot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Jennifer, any thoughts on that or any memories, or was it again just, not rushed
Well,
either?
Well, one thing that I just thought of has nothing to do with the movie, but did you know that people in Alabama, the pedestrians don't have the right of way? I learned that the hard way.
Wow.
I almost got hit by a car the first night we were there. I was crossing the street to try to get to the restaurant.
Talk about being rushed.
And they were like, pedestrians don't have the right of way here. I'm like, oh fuck, I almost died. Well, okay, so like with me, mine were night shoots, and they only had so much allotted time, right? So my mom's freaking out because it's my first movie, and so she's like, when do I call SAG? Like, they've been working you for like 12 hours, now it's 14 hours. Like, when do I say enough is enough and not hurt your career so that people are like, oh, we don't want to work with her because her mom's
Oh, man.
So my mom was like in this like awful spot where she was like, just like, are you okay? Like, I guess as long as you're okay, we don't call SAG. Like, can you keep working? Because, so I mean, I did feel that rush.
Man, I can't believe this happened at Paramount, like 4 years after the Twilight Zone. Like, that they were, pushing child labor laws. That's just
I don't know if my mom ever finally like did call them or whatever. Because she was like,
I feel like I would just have to guess that she didn't.
I'm thinking she might have called them like twice just to like ask
she's
questions.
Talking about calling our union, the SAG,
Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
Yeah, because kids are not supposed to work.
There's a very, I own an acting school, Actors Audition Studios, and there's a fine line with child working because all the kids I worked with, including my own, children really much are treated like adults in the industry, really, and there's not a like you can have children working with adults. It's not like all the kids stay together with adults because we're playing characters, and characters have to work with different age brackets. So we get used to working with kids in very long hours. Most of the time, they'll shoot their close-ups and the kids will leave, and then they shoot our close-ups, and we just talk to an X or nothing for our close-ups to give them that time off. But I think that they work a solid 8 or 10 hours, I would think. I would think so. I could be wrong, but I work them that hard. I mean, they're working that long in my studio.
Not legal.
Not legal.
Well, someone who worked a little too hard on this movie, and I wish didn't work on it at all, is an organization called the MPAA. So I would like to talk to you guys a little bit about the crimes that they committed against cinema by chopping up what would have been ultimately the greatest kill scenes in 80s horror history.
Yeah.
How difficult was that for everybody? I mean, it must have been heartbreaking for John.
It was heartbreaking for John because, but I don't even know how he maintained his calm, which he did. As an actor on the show, we never felt the issues that Kane and John had to deal with while we were working. We never felt any things going on. I don't know how they both kept that up with that kind of a shoot, but they did. They kept it from us. So
it's an amazing testament to them.
Yeah, it was. We had a couple of days where a woman that was in the production office would kind of show up, and she was a little complicated. And one time, I do remember Kane and another man picking up the little woman and carrying her away.
You gotta go, man.
Had to make her go away.
Bye, bitch.
Amazing.
It's like, what's happening over there? Nothing. Nothing's going on.
We're taking out the trash.
We're just hold on, Laura. We're just gonna move this woman somewhere else.
Jeez, I love Kane even more now. That's amazing.
I feel like we're in a circus tent. Does anybody else feel like we're in a circus tent?
Actually,
I'm waiting for like the aerial ropes to come down.
I think they do circus.
They do actually a lot of boxing fights here, so it could have come in handy in Jason's next movie, Friday 8, I guess. But was that something you were aware of, all the cuts being made at the time, Jennifer, or was that something that you not really, same thing?
I mean, now that you bring it up, I do remember, like, I started having some like memories of that, but I mean, it didn't affect me. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm still hoping.
That's stuff that grown-ups talked about.
I'm still holding out hope that somewhere some film elements exist, and someone at Paramount is going to find them and be like, actually, we can release the director's cut now. It would have been great if John was here to oversee that, of course. But That's two great losses to the horror world for sure. So I'm hogging the mic, guys, and I apologize. I do want to give the audience a chance to jump in with questions. So as soon as I see hands going up, I will be happy to call them out there. But it always takes a minute to warm up. So I have a few more. I wanted to ask about working with, any of the special effects because
Hey, bitch.
that is something that was, I feel like, quite ramped up in this movie versus the other Friday movies.
Yeah, the special effects were really fun.
Yeah.
You have to kind of stop and wait for an effect. Sometimes you make a move and then you just have to wait for them to do the effect. One of the hardest effects that used to be done is the smoke that's put into the room to make today it won't kill you. Back then the smoke they used was really horrible and it was toxic.
It overtook everything.
It did, and they would wave it in.
They would waft it around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Just create atmosphere?
Yeah, it helps with the view of the room and at a lake and in a house. It gives kind of a feeling of a different room tone, and that stuff is very strong. Yeah. So I didn't like working with that, but
Like, have you ever noticed in most movies, they wet down the roads and stuff? But in the movie, nothing's raining. There hasn't been any rain.
Always,
Have you noticed that? I never
Always.
noticed that. My dad pointed it out one day. It's almost always like that. I'm like, why the hell did you point that out to me? Now I see it all the time. That's fucking weird. Why is the road wet? What does that do? Does it change the light, the way the light reflects? What the hell?
I would think it would. I mean, as a kid, I just thought that looks so cool, and that's why they always do it. And now as an adult, I think, okay, that's probably because it's a light bounce then. Like you get the bounce, and people are a little bit more underlit. At least
I can smell now. You start talking about it, I can smell it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You can
get
smell
stuck
it.
in your nose. And your
It's got
mouth.
a very distinct smell.
They don't use that anymore. Of course, today they're using different forms of, mist.
After everyone died of
chemicals.
cancer, they decided to change the chemical makeup.
So, VII obviously has my favorite kills, even though they were chopped up by the MPAA. I'm curious if you guys have a favorite kill from the film.
Sleeping bag.
Sleeping bag, right?
Yeah,
You gotta
that's
go.
a good
with
one. I like to camp. so-
That one really got me.
Yeah, that was creepy.
That one got me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a.
That was a lot.
That's
Yeah.
Kane's favorite kill,
Yes.
still to this day.
Yeah.
as well. I mean, that's just one of the.
Yeah, I
greatest.
remember when we watched it at the premiere, I was like,
And I've seen the work print version of the longer cut. Of all the kills, that is the one that I feel like survived the most from the MPAA. That was the one that they took out a lot of the potatoes and the veggies, but the meat's still there.
That one for sure.
So that's very cool. Was there another one I wanted to ask before I give the audience a chance? Was there ever any talk of the team from VII coming back to do another one of you and John or?
Well, it was just constant, but you can't deal with those studios. It's just what it is. They had asked me to come back for part 8, but they were known for killing off the final girl in the beginning of the next film.
Right.
So they wouldn't give me a script, and I didn't want Tina to die. I felt like she needed to stay alive, and so they did part 8. I went off and did something else. But what's cool about that is after all these years, you may have heard of Roseblood that we just released in October, that Kevin did and Terry Kaiser and I did, where we brought us back after 30 years. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I am dying to see that.
Yeah, it's fun.
We've had Terry at a few of our shows. He's great.
He's wonderful, man.
Yeah,
I fucking love that guy. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a Terry Kaiser story.
Yes, please do.
So one night we all went to dinner. Do you remember when we all went to dinner? There was a big, huge table of all of us. Terry Kaiser dared me to eat escargot, and I was like, "Fucking eating escargot," and he was like, "I'll give you $50 if you eat escargot." I'm like, "What's $50?" He was like, "Everyone at the table will give you $50 if you eat escargot." I ate escargot and I got $50 from everyone at the table. Cha-ching!
Enough money to go spend the weekend at Bernie's with all that cash.
Yeah, he was. All the grown-ups were really took a lot of time with me. They may not none of them remember it, but they all made me feel really special and included and welcome and wanted and on the other side of things, the crew and everybody, you know, made sure that I knew how everything happened, and it was a wonderful experience. All except for the fucking limousine that was a van that said limousine. Yeah. That was ratchet.
You know, I feel like Terry does have a great moment in Friday the 13th history, because as far as I can remember, he's the only person to ever use a human shield to protect himself against your mother. Yes. Oh my God. Just an amazing moment. Speaking of, you know, any memories of working with her? Working with the actress, I'm
Sue Blue.
Thank you.
Sue Blue, yeah, she does. She's a voice actor. You know, she does a lot of cartoons and things like that. No, she was just a lovely person.
She was
fun. Yep.
Yeah. I adored her. The dad, not so much.
John Otrin. Yeah.
Yeah, he freaking zippered my skin. I was standing in front of the. It was really cold. It was really freaking cold. And we're all huddled around this little floor heater, and they moved me in front of the floor heater because I'm the fucking kid, and he wanted the floor heater, so he tried to move me, and he freaking zipped my jacket into my skin, trying to get me out of the fucking way. I was like, that guy's a fucking dick. You do that to a kid? I would love to see him nowadays to be like, really, bitch? You know, as a joke. I'm not like being, you know. But I was like mortified by that guy. That was abuse to me. I'm like, this guy that's playing my dad just abused me. He literally like drew blood from my body. I had a hickey.
That's
you know, like he literally zipped up my skin.
That's why it's called The New Blood. Oh my God.
Motherfucker.
Lord.
But I would love to talk to him like later, because I do talk about this sometimes, and like I haven't been able to like approach him about it. He probably doesn't even remember, because nobody remembers me.
Well, it's, you know, again, you know, the third time, I hate you, I wish you're dead, is going to play so differently now that I know that story. I'll be like, that's right, that dick gets what he deserves. So I do want to give the audience another chance to jump in there, guys. I know people get shy. It's okay. It's okay.
Talk to me. Talk dirty to me.
So obviously the franchise has been quite tied up in court for a while now, and there's a rights battle going on.
And no, he got it.
What's that?
He got his rights back. The guy that wrote the original screenplay,
Victor,
he has the rights now.
I thought that was going through another appeal or something, going up to, you know, I just feel like it's Jason Goes to Jail. That's like the movie we've been stuck on for a long time, you know? Like Jason's in court, you know?
I could have sworn he got it.
I think, no, there was a decision recently, but I'm just so skeptical. I'm like, well, they're calling it the end, but we'll see. You know, we'll see if it's really the end of this, because it seems to keep going back.
Yeah, can I have the rights back to my own shit?
That's, you know, I can't even
The guy who had the rights fucking passed away. It should go back to the original owner. The guy who fucking guy whose work it is.
You know, I know.
Right? Doesn't that make sense in life?
You know,
Don't be irrational.
I don't, you know, honestly, I don't even know the legalities of who wrote what. All I know is what I've been told and what I can read on the internet, and who knows how much of what is true. Yeah. So obviously, if you write something, I want those creators to be taken care of and to have the rights. And at the end of the day, I want more Friday the 13th films for Friday the 13th fans, because we're like addicted to this franchise, and we've been starved, you know, for sure. I mean, you guys, you know, we're right at almost the end of the most impressive run ever of like 8 movies in 9 years. I don't think it'll ever be matched. Or what, 8 movies in 10 years, you know, 8, 9 years. But the reason I ask is, you know, if the franchise does come back and it does come out of, you know, legal jail or whatever it's in, what are the things that you guys would like to see in the future of the franchise?
I really have not.
Tina kills Jason.
Tina kills Jason? No. Yeah, you know, I really haven't thought about continuing stories. I mean, I really liked it. I was hoping that we would go in a continuing story in some of them. So
there was a lot of talk on set about like what they were going to do for the next few, and it sounded amazing.
It sounded amazing, and none of them happened.
Oh my gosh!
Well, it was none of. It was not supposed to be Jason Takes Manhattan. It was not. Fucking goes to space. What the fuck?
No, it's.
Shut the fuck up.
I would have watched Tina Takes Manhattan. If Tina and Jason threw down in Madison Square Garden, there's a Jason Takes Manhattan.
There you go.
Right? You know, I would love that.
Yes.
I don't know what they did with
I mean, those movies were probably great. I didn't watch them. They're probably wonderful, but they're not what I had envisioned by what everybody had been talking about as to where the franchise was going. So when they did start releasing him, I was like, well, that's dumb, and I just didn't care anymore because I was pumped up for something totally different. You know what I mean? It's like if you go to take a sip of water and it's fucking vodka, you know?
Yeah.
Like, or you're thinking you're gonna take vodka and it's water. It's like, doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could...
Do you understand how that made me feel?
No, I definitely...
I'm trying to explain my feelings.
You know, I think a big part of it is, and you mentioned this with continuity, I think a big part of it was there was some resemblance of continuity from film to film to film up until, I think at 8 is the point where they're just like, yeah, like no connections, you know, no more
just
Jarvis,
because they
no more
wouldn't
Lake,
give me
no
the
more,
script.
You know.
It's your
If
fucking
they had
fault.
given me the script,
Yeah,
we would have
thanks,
had
Lar.
part 8.
Gosh.
You were the glue that held it all together.
No, I'm the glue remover that made it fall apart.
Well, I do...
You're the glue that decided to be a sticker that could be removed.
I do want to give the audience another chance
You
to jump
keep
in
saying
because,
that, but I
Don't
don't
talk to
believe
us.
you.
I, you know, don't want to. I could talk to these guys all day. You know, I'll cancel the other panels. and we'll
Somebody
just keep
stand up
talking.
and
I have
ask
no
us a
problem with
question.
that. But I do want to ask if you have a favorite line from the movie, though.
Bad News Cruise.
Ah, such
like
a
that.
great one. Jennifer?
I don't know. I'm going to have to figure that out
All right.
and hope somebody asks me that question again because it is a good one. I'm like, damn it, I'm not prepared.
We'll take a rain check on that then.
Yeah.
Was there any stuff that you guys remember filming that got deleted that, you know, maybe never found its way to YouTube or anything other than all the kill scenes, or story-wise, everything you shot is in the
I
movie?
believe everything's in the film.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I think so.
Well, just one more before we wrap it up. Another thing I've always appreciated about VII is the best makeup in Jason history. You know,
So
It is
fucking good.
amazing. Like just some of the best makeup ever in film
So
history.
good.
You know, when he comes out of the water and you see his
good.
spine through his shirt
So
and like
fucking good.
all the damage. You know, I love that. So, was there ever any? You know, did that ever hold up shooting at all, or was that ever? You know,
No.
we got to touch up Kane right here, or
No.
was it like it
That was
built like
done.
a tank?
That was done hours and hours before we started working, and and it got very stinky being around him in that stinky latex paint.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine.
Yeah, no, they were amazing with how they kept that together and had it on time.
Very cool. So I guess one more, and I'll let you guys. Get back to
I
your
don't
day.
fucking
Well,
believe
I'm
you.
sorry, I'm having too much fun here. But again, we did talk a little bit about special effects, but in terms of like more stunt related, because I know that there's at least in both of your scene, the scenes that you guys were both in, like there's docks, going up and down. There's
Right.
houses exploding. There's fire. There's Kane almost breaking his head on a stair that he falls through the
Right,
breakaway
right,
stair.
right.
So is there any stories that you guys have related to that?
Yeah, I got to do the stunt falling through the stairs to the basement, which was really, really cool. I got to do that. It was so padded. It was fine, but that was fun. It was just a little fall. And then I did a fall out on the pier at the end, and that was really hard. It was really hard because of the number of times we had to shoot that scene. It was very long. It was actually one continuous scene walking from the house all the way across the land and then out to the pier and then fall. Wow. So, but stunt people should do the stunts all the time.
Definitely.
Not the non-stunt people.
And I've been saying for a long time there should be Oscars for stunt people.
They're so good.
Yes, they really are amazing.
Well, when you do your own stunts, you get paid more. So anytime they've ever asked me, do you want to do your own stunt? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want more money.
Very cool. Were you on set when they filmed the doc?
So that was actually, it reminded me of like what's it called? Universal Studios ride or something, because it was mechanical. So they would collapse it, and then we'd have to wait for it to come back up and refix itself. Yeah, before we could, do another take.
Wow, that's
So I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, that must've been
They
really
built that out in the water. in the freaking lake. They built that shit. It's freaking rad.
Wow.
It's so freaking rad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are both freaking rad.
Yeah, they were cool.
Before we wrap it up, I do want to remind everyone to come to their tables, get some pictures, get some autographs. I know they have a lot more stories to tell you, and put your hands together for these two incredible legends.
Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
Hey, this is Alex Malari Jr., and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Your Emperor commands it. Thanks for watching.